Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Welcome to this regional webinar. You will be muted, as you can see, and your video is turned off. They will remain like that since it's a webinar, so informative for you. But please, we recommend you to type any question that you may have through the chat. So during the presentation, you can send your messages with your questions to Q&A. You will see through the list of the chat, the Zoom chat. Please send that to Q&A. And this session will be available on your YouTube channel as well. We will be recording this session, and you will find it further for your use as a resource if you want to see the information again. So today we will talk about a very important topic, grad applications beyond academics. Sometimes our advisees or the people that is interested in pursuing their programs of study in the US, in this case, graduate programs, they don't know about those specific things and those aspects that can make you a stronger candidate before sending your application. Today we will have presenting this topic. We have Andrew Losso, Office of Graduate Recruitment from Binghamton University, State University of New York. After EducationUSA, we present a little bit more about what we can offer to you as students. He will be talking about this topic. And we have the presence as well of Yvonne Ponixan. She is Assistant Director of the Office of Graduate Recruitment of the Binghamton University. So we are very glad to have you virtually here. And we want to ask you which country are you visiting us from? We will send a poll.
We have the poll already there.
It's already there. Oh, thank you so much. So it would be very, very interesting to know where you are from. Now, today, everything has been going virtual with our events, mostly because, well, these pandemic times and this contingency have driven us to that, and we are very happy about that because we can get to more people and people that is not just from Mexico. My name is Marta Beltran. I am EducationUSA advisor in Mexico City, Mexico, but it's really nice to see people from other countries. So let me see, I cannot see. I will invite today, we have our country coordinator from Mexico, Elvira Castillo, as well. She will be receiving your questions. And at the end of this presentation, we will be responding those questions. So Elvira, if you are watching how the poll is going, I cannot see that, like the percentages of the people.
Yeah, sorry, Marta. I already shared the results. We have 70% is people from Mexico, and 30% are people joining from Central America.
Great. Well, welcome again, and we will start then our presentation. EducationUSA, for the people that is not very familiar to it yet, we are a global network of advising centers, and we are part of the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, ECA. So we are part of the U.S. government, and we are your access to introductory information on U.S. studies, so to all the people that is interested in pursuing your programs in the U.S. One of our goals is precisely promoting U.S. higher education around the world, and we are more than 430 Education USA advising centers worldwide in 175 countries. Our target, we are constantly talking and having communication and collaboration with international students. So prospective students, as you all are, and as well, we are communicating and collaborating with representatives from different US higher education universities. We are not just having agreements with some of the universities. Since we are part of the government, the US government, then we are having this collaboration and communication with the whole US higher education community. As well, the Education USA advisors, we have communication with local educational institutions and non-governmental organizations and all organizations that are keen to work with educational affairs. About the advice that we can provide to you in Education USA and the services that we provide to you, we are very keen to provide accurate, comprehensive, and current information about the full range of accredited US higher educational institutions. The institutions need to be accredited to precisely get and accept international students in their programs and in their campus. Like the most current information you will find in the official websites of each institution, since if they make any change or if there is new information, they will be posting that in their websites first, in their own official websites. So it's very important that you also get informed by this official website from each institution you are interested to study at. Some of the services, we are always planning, organizing, and delivering informative sessions. So it's more in detail about the whole process of application to a US institution. After that, we are also offering one-on-one sessions, which is more personalized and individualized sessions with an advisor assigned to each of the advices, and webinars, workshops, showcases, seminars, mobility fairs, and educational fairs. So it's very important that you keep in touch with Education USA, that you follow us in social media in your country, and as this regionally events that we are organizing as well, because we are constantly preparing all these topics to you and are relevant to your process of application. In center, you will find advising centers at American Spaces, which is US embassies and US consulates, Fulbright commissions, binational centers, universities, local universities. You will find some of our offices of Education USA located at some institutions of education in your own country, nonprofit organizations. In that case, it's very important as well that when we can go in presence after this contingency, you can visit us, and a lot of these services, a lot of these webinars are actually going on in center, and you can find official materials and guides that that means, for instance, books, booklets, guides that will help you with the preparation for your tests, the admissions test, the English tests, and how to write your essay in a more competitive way. And when you get into the advising with Education USA, we can also help you with those essays and to give you feedback about this, with the goal to make you a very competitive candidate when you send your application. Outreach is, Education USA is making a lot of outreach activities. So we are visiting local educational institutions when they specifically prepare mobility fairs or some showcases, webinars, workshops for their alumni, and we have presence there. So we are making these outreach activities and virtual as today, and we are very glad to get to a lot of students worldwide. And now we will make some questions actually regarding the topic of today.
Thank you, Martha. Yes, we have 3 questions for you. So the first question is, what extracurricular activities are you currently doing in regular basis? And you can check all that apply, and you can start your selecting your answers. And it seems we're having some trouble here. I don't see any answers yet. Maybe, okay, so now I have, yeah, we are getting some answers. So the second question is, how important are non-academic activities in the graduate admission process? And the third question is, how can you show evidence of your non-academic activities in the admission process? I still see some people getting their answers, so I'm going to wait a little bit to show the results. And I don't know, Andrew, if you are able to see the questions.
Yep.
Okay, you are. Okay, great. You are not watching the answers, Marta? No, you're not. Okay, sorry about that. So we are still getting some answers. I'll just wait a couple of seconds. This is your last chance to participate in the polls. I'm going to close the poll now. So thank you for all take the time to share, to send your answers. So yeah, we have people volunteering, doing sports, researching, doing handicraft, cooking and baking, gardening, teaching, other activities. Some people not doing anything at all of these activities. For almost half of the people, the non-academic activities are very important. And also, many people choose that the CV or resume is the way that you can show evidence. But we have some people choosing sending an email or sending the diplomas and certificates, showing that in their online application. Also, a lot of people choosing the letters of recommendation, the interview, and many people choosing the personal statement. So thank you for your answers.
Thank you again for your answers, as Elvira said. And now we are going to hear about this topic from Andrew. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you very much, Martha and Elvira. My name is Andrew Loso. I work as a graduate recruiter with Binghamton University's Office of Graduate Recruitment. Binghamton University is a public university located in New York State, about 3 hours from New York City. And so my role is to do campus-wide graduate recruitment and represent all 90 of Binghamton University's graduate programs. And we're so happy to be here today. My supervisor, Ivan, is also on the call, Assistant Director for the Office of Graduate Recruitment. And so we're so honored and privileged to be able to discuss this very important topic, which is credentials beyond academics and how to strengthen your graduate application. So we will get started. So the agenda for today, we'll do a brief overview of why you should pursue your graduate education in the United States versus any other country, right? And then we will hop right into the main topic, which is the tips and tricks to strengthen your application beyond just those traditional credentials that you need to apply. So beyond the transcripts and beyond the standardized tests, we want to talk about different activities that you can do, such as research, teaching assistantships and tutoring and work experience, a lot of involvement on your campus as an undergraduate student. And not only that, we want to talk about how to best showcase those experiences in your application. We really want you to learn all of the different mechanisms by which you can put your best foot forward to create and submit your strongest application possible to graduate programs. And then, of course, we will do a brief overview of our university, Binghamton University, a great option for you as you are considering pursuing these graduate programs in the United States. So why pursue your graduate education in the United States? There are over 3,000 four-year colleges and universities in the United States. And our colleges and universities are really known to be some of the best in the world. If you look at the Ivy League, for example, these are some of the highest rated colleges and universities in the entire world. And we have a lot of public universities that offer that Ivy League level, that absolute top quality academic experience, but they do so at that public school price, which is more affordable and offers a greater value. Research opportunities. This is probably one of the best known assets of the American system of higher education. There is a long tradition of our country investing heavily in research in colleges and universities, and there is a long tradition of collaboration between research and professors and industry in the United States. Really, one of the best known examples is in California, Stanford University partnering with Apple to create the technology for the iPhone. American research universities are also responsible for the development of transformational technologies such as FM radio, GPS, antibiotics, and nanotechnology. Some of the technologies that have really transformed the world are because of this partnership between American research universities and our industries. Binghamton, as one quick example, is home to Professor Stan Whittingham, who is the creator of the lithium-ion battery. So if you have that phone in your pocket and the battery lasts all day, you can thank Stanley Whittingham, our professor in chemistry, for that technology. And we have plenty of graduate students from 115 different countries who work with not only Stanley, but a lot of different research centers on our campus. Opportunities for career development. If you pursue your education in the United States, you are generally afforded 1 year after graduating to work at a firm, at a company in the United States. If your degree is science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, or STEM, you are generally offered a 24-month extension. So you could be looking at working in the United States in that introductory entry-level role, building your resume for up to 3 years. Our colleges and universities are renowned for the support of international students. We have at Binghamton an International Student and Scholar Services Office, which hosts culture and language exchanges. We have a lot of cultural groups on our campus for international students to build community and build friendships. And so those services are very important to us. And they're critical because our universities really are crossroads of not only academics, but of culture and language and background. And so it's very important for us to provide those opportunities to international students. Finally, our funding opportunities. Generally at the PhD level, universities are able, if you are a competitive applicant, to provide some level of funding for you to join the faculty as a graduate assistant or research assistant. Again, those are generally at the PhD level versus the master's level, but that is a very prevalent resource and option for students looking to pursue their graduate education in the United States. All right, so now we will head right into our main topic, tips to strengthen your application. The key word here is holistic review. A graduate program is going to review your application holistically. They will review all of the application materials to determine if you are a good fit. They will be reviewing your transcripts. They'll be reviewing your grades. They'll be reviewing your standardized test scores. And they'll be reviewing more than that. They want to see that you are not just interested in a job, or in the case of a PhD, interested in funding. They want to see that you really are passionate about that program of study. So what have you done during your undergraduate career to really set yourself apart and really exceed at a high level in terms of your academics and the program of study that you're passionate about pursuing? And this could be research experience. It could be teaching assistantships and tutoring positions that you can get on your college campus. It could be work experience, both on campus and off campus. And of course, all of your involvement in clubs and organizations and leadership positions within those organizations. I was even having a recent conversation with some faculty, and they utilize the correspondence that they have with students. So they receive emails from students discussing their programs, and that even is part of the holistic review. And so the faculty admissions committees are able to review a large array of credentials, and these credentials can help you stand out and help you become a more competitive applicant. All right. A big experience that you could become involved with during your undergraduate career that can really help you stand out is if you can find a way to become involved with research at the undergraduate level. We see here a picture of one of our students conducting a poster session as part of our first year research immersion program. So if there are opportunities for you to become involved with research at the undergraduate level at your institution, you definitely want to take advantage of those. And it could be fully funded research through academic departments. It could be research projects that you conduct as part of your own coursework. A lot of undergraduate coursework has capstone projects, research papers, and this is all really important work for you to get your gears turning and start thinking about how you're going to be pursuing research. Of course, ideally, you could get your research published in a research publication that shows your commitment to your writing skills and your just commitment to that highest level of activity in terms of your academics. A lot of colleges and universities have research centers on their campus. So we have, for example, a Human Rights Institute on our campus, and we have undergraduate students who are able to be involved with that on various capacities. Serving in labs, even just hourly work, serving as an assistant in a lab is a great opportunity to build your resume in terms of research. And finally, travel to academic conferences. If you are able to be so fortunate to join the faculty and travel to an academic conference to hear guest speakers or even present on your research, that is a great opportunity for you. Because many graduate programs are research focused, it's very common that you'll be conducting research right alongside the faculty. And you really want to seek out ways, even if they are more mid-level or more basic ways of becoming involved with research, you really want to see if you can start doing that right in the undergraduate level. All right. Similarly, another opportunity that can show your affinity for higher level academic work is becoming a teaching assistant or tutoring, right? If you, generally speaking, succeed in an undergraduate course on a campus, you get an A. A lot of times that college will allow you to be a tutor. Some are more volunteer and some are even paid positions. And this can really demonstrate your affinity for the program and your proficiency in your academic major. It can also help you build relationships with professors. Great photo here of a professor on our campus interacting with one of our undergraduate students. And these professors are oftentimes the individuals who will be writing your letters of recommendation. And so to be able to engage with these professors through teaching assistantships, through working in a tutoring center, can really help you build rapport with these professors and help you when it comes time to request the letter of recommendation, help that professor really know your skills and your credentials. And of course, it provides experience grading papers. So a lot of, at the doctoral level, especially teaching research assistantships and graduate assistantships, grading papers is a very common role. A lot of PhD students will tell you that. And so if you can have some preliminary experience doing grading of papers, that can be a really great asset for you moving into your graduate studies. Work experience. Work experience can mean a lot of things, right? So maybe you were able to secure an internship over the summer between your third year and your fourth year of your undergraduate career. Maybe you were able to find an employment position right on campus, right? At our university, we have undergraduate students who drive our buses and they work in the libraries and they work in food service. And so Those positions can be both on campus and off campus during your undergraduate career. And what's important is you want to find positions and experiences that are related to the fields that you will be pursuing. I have a few examples here. We have a Sustainable Communities Master's, sort of like public service for the planet. A great opportunity would be to work on the campus farm, working on sustainability, working on farming. A student interested in chemistry might want to intern at a pharmaceutical company. A student interested in a master's in English might want to work for their school newspaper. Students interested in healthcare, this is a very common one where there's lots of positions out there. Volunteering at a local hospital or healthcare setting. It's very important for your resume for students interested in healthcare graduate degrees, whether it be public health, healthcare systems, healthcare engineering, just to name a few. All right. And of course, your involvement in campus activities. We hope that as you are moving through your undergraduate education, you are beginning to become more and more involved in clubs and organizations. Maybe it's a club sport, maybe it is a professional development group. You see a nice picture of our university president, Harvey Stenger, with our nursing student group, nursing student organization, and more so leadership positions. All of these clubs and organizations have executive boards. So not only do we want you to be on the club swim team, be on the club rowing team, but we want you to be the vice president. We want you to be the treasurer. We want you to understand how to work with large groups of people and accomplish complex tasks. Study abroad experience. If you can have the opportunity to study abroad during your college career, that really shows your commitment to internationalization and understanding the world from a different perspective. Creative achievements in the arts. So maybe you are artistic, to have your arts showcased in the University Art Museum. Could be a great opportunity. Articles published in campus publications, right? So the school newspaper, different publications on campus want to have many students write different pieces, opinion pieces, and editorial pieces. And this shows your commitment to not only writing skills, but higher level thinking, diversity, social justice, right? So we really want to encourage you to participate in those campus publications in your undergraduate career. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of different things you could become involved with, extracurricular, to help you build that application that is going to be stronger from a holistic level. How are you going to showcase those experiences in your application? How are you going to put your best foot forward to make sure that the admissions committee can see all of these great experiences that you have accomplished? Right. So a few very important credentials for a graduate application are listed here. One is the personal statement. Personal statements, time and time again, when we work with faculty, they tell us that they read these personal statements very closely, generally a 2 to 3 page document. And it's really your opportunity for you to make your case about why you would be a good fit for this graduate program. You want to give your backstory, you want to tell your interests, you want to tell your career ambitions, but really just going back to the big theme of this presentation, you want to make that case for why you have been passionate about your academic background. Not just that you want the result, but really what makes you a great fit? What makes you different? Discuss those extracurricular activities. Discuss what makes you strongly suited for this particular program and this particular university over others. And then of course, a resume, curriculum vitae. This is your opportunity to really comprehensively break down all of your experiences. It's very important when you are crafting a resume to make sure that you use action words as much as possible. So if you are on the club swim team, rather than just saying, I was on the club swim team, you want to say, directed the fundraising efforts for the club swim team. To use action words, verbs, as much as possible is a great mechanism for you to strengthen your resume. And of course, you want to prioritize experiences that are relevant to the graduate program, right? So a lot of people have a lot of experiences, and it's important for you to bring those opportunities that are most relevant and most recent to the top of your resume and tailor that to the graduate program to which you are applying. All right, so now we have a great example of a resume. It's a little small text, but it just gives you kind of the gist of what a graduate program might be looking for just a comprehensive, succinct one-page resume. Of course, your education or your name at the very top, but your education is the first thing that you want to discuss, because your education is the most important credential. Your undergraduate degree, your prerequisite courses. You want to talk about your education, and then right under it, you want to talk about your skills, right? So maybe you have a license or a credential in computer coding and you're applying to a computer science master's degree. They want to know that. Maybe you want to work in a Master of Business Administration and you've been working in finance and you have investment credentials, investment licenses. You want to put that in your technical skills. Next up, you want to do a summary of your professional experiences. That could include any full-time positions that you have pursued. It could include a summer internship. It could include if you do freelance work. Maybe you want to pursue a master's in graphic design and you operate a freelance graphic design operation. You want to make sure you put something like that in your resume. Maybe you own a small business. That is very critical for you to showcase. Leadership and campus involvement. So you see here the individual was involved with Watson, which is our engineering school, career and alumni connections. So this individual was a student assistant in Watson Career and Alumni Connections. And that is really a leadership position. It is the student showcase. Not only were they involved on campus, but they held a position that was above and beyond, that was able to be working with large groups of people, working on complex topics. And you can see all of these are action verbs: assist, gather, advise, tutor, right? Very important for you to use action verbs. And then of course your formal employment history. So maybe you have that summer job, even just that hourly job, working in this individual's case, a contractor and a lifeguard over the summer. Very common job for college students. That's also very important for you to list on your resume. But you'll notice that the resume is one page, it's succinct, and it offers a good glimpse of the student's credentials and experiences in pursuit of a degree in biomedical engineering. All right, so letter of recommendation. Most graduate programs require at least 2 letters of recommendation. And these need to be from individuals who can speak to your academic and professional capabilities. So it's great to have a letter of recommendation from that faculty member where you worked with them on tutoring. And it's also great to have that professional letter of recommendation, even if it's from that lifeguard supervisor, to have that blend of academic and professional capabilities. Recommendations speak to your interpersonal skills and your leadership abilities. They want to know that you work well with other people, right? They want to know that you have great communication skills, that you've risen to positions of leadership. One really important piece of advice is that you want to speak with your recommenders prior to submitting their information in your application. A lot of applications will ask you to provide the name and email address of a recommender, and then the system, the program where the application is hosted, will actually correspond and email that recommender. And you don't want them to be caught off guard. You want to get ahead of that, and you want to tell them that they are to be expecting this request for a letter of recommendation. And you also want to brief them on how you worked with them. A lot of these recommenders work with hundreds of students through the years, and to just even email them your resume and say, hey, just wanted to refresh you that we worked together. I was your lab assistant in the biomedical engineering lab. I would be honored if you would write me a letter of recommendation. And you don't want to draft your own. You want it to come straight from the recommender. And again, with today's technology, a lot of the applications allow the recommender to send that recommendation straight to the university and affix it to your application. All right. So now we get to the part that is, of course, very exciting for me. We want to give a brief pitch, a brief overview of Binghamton University. This is an aerial photograph of Binghamton University. We are located in upstate New York. So we're located in New York State. We are 3 hours from New York City, and we are a university research center. You look at the US News and World Report rankings of 3,000 colleges and universities. We are the 86th highest ranked university in the nation. So easily in that top 100 colleges, which is of course why we are attractive to over 2,000 international students. So if we want to keep going, we'll take a look at some information here. All right. So what does it mean to be a premier public university? Some universities in the United States, similar to other countries, are administered by the state governments. Others are private. They're their own separate private institutions. And Binghamton is a public university, which means that we offer an excellent high level of education at a reasonable price. And if you look at, for example, Business First magazine lists us as the 16th top public university in the United States out of hundreds of public universities. The Princeton Review has us as one of the top 50 colleges that create futures. So we really do offer that excellent education, and we do so at a great value. So we're not going to be charging you that private school price. We're going to be charging you a price that is going to provide you with an easy return on investment. And according to Money magazine, Binghamton provides for public universities the #9 best return on investment. So how much, depending on how much money you put in versus how much you get out, right? Your career prospects upon graduating. So that is really the place that Binghamton sits, offering a premier university experience at a reasonable public school price. So look at all these beautiful flags that are flowing through the screen. We welcome international students from over 115 different countries. If you walk down the main area of our campus, you will hear different languages being spoken. You will see people hailing from all around the world. Of course, we have students from Mexico, from the Caribbean, from Canada, all over Latin and Central America. We have a lot of students from India and China. And so we really are a welcoming, inclusive crossroads of language and background and identity and ethnicity for students from over 115 countries. All right, so I'll give a real brief breakdown of what we have to offer in terms of our programs. We, being a university, have our programs broken down into 6 different schools. Our Harper College of Arts and Sciences offers graduate programs in natural and physical sciences, right? So biology, chemistry, doctoral degrees in psychology. It offers a lot of different degrees. It's not going to, this one slide definitely won't do it justice, but degrees like geography, physics, English, theater, right? All of those fine arts, natural and physical sciences, languages, and humanities. Our Watson College of Engineering and Applied Sciences offers master's and doctoral level degrees in biomedical engineering, mechanical engineering, systems science and industrial engineering, computer science, electrical and computer engineering. Our School of Management offers a Master of Business Administration and a Master's in Accounting. I mentioned in the previous slide how we're 3 hours from New York City. 2/3 of our alumni base lives and works in the New York City area. That is very important for career prospects in business, in accounting. We are the #1 provider of new hires for 2 of the what are referred to as Big 4 accounting firms, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Ernst & Young. They employ hundreds of our graduates each year. Decker College of Nursing and Health Sciences offers graduate level nursing degrees for bachelor prepared nurses who also have their American nursing license in family psychiatric mental health, family nursing, adult gerontological, and community health. Our College of Community and Public Affairs. This is a program that offers degrees in public service, degrees where you might be working for a state, local, or national government. It offers degrees in public administration, social work, human rights, teaching, learning, and educational leadership. I'm trying to think if there's a few more there, but that's just a few examples of degrees offered in the College of Community and Public Affairs. Finally, our School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences offers that Doctor of Pharmacy, become a registered pharmacist. And we have a few interdisciplinary programs as well that actually bridge these schools. We have programs in, and there they are, data analytics. This is actually a really interesting master's because it's a 10-month master's degree. Data visualization, leveraging data for big companies, a very hot topic. And that is also a STEM certified degree. Material science and engineering, that's actually the, along with chemistry, the home of that Nobel laureate, Stan Whittingham, who was the creator of the lithium battery, public health, sustainable communities, and a brand new master is actually the only master's of its kind in the world. A master's in genocide and mass atrocity prevention. Right, so how do we not just say never again to the atrocities of the past, but how do we proactively create practitioners to go throughout the world and prevent genocide and mass atrocity? And so those are some of the interdisciplinary degrees we have. You'll see on this page the degrees that have that caret sign are the degrees that are STEM certified. So that is important for students who want to make sure that they obtain that additional 24 months of OPT, occupational practical training, because that will allow you to have a longer period of time, spending time in the United States, gaining that career experience. But we have 60 master's and 30 doctoral programs across these 6 schools. And we encourage you to go to this website, binghamton.edu/grad school-academic programs. They all have great web pages. They all have great contact information for all the programs. And so we encourage you to continue to do your research and learn more about these programs. Finally, if you have questions, we are here for you. This is the contact information for Yvonne, who is Assistant Director for the Office of Graduate Recruitment, and of course myself, Andrew Loso. We have our emails there. We have our WhatsApp phone. People love WhatsApp. That's one thing we learn when we travel to other countries is that a lot of people are on WhatsApp, and we have our very own WhatsApp phone. So you can give that phone a ring or a text, and we will be happy to communicate with you and answer any questions that you have.
Perfect. Well, before moving to the questions and answers section, I will let everyone to take a screenshot for about your information. Thank you so much for sharing your information, Yvonne and Andrew. So anyone interested can contact you directly. And before then the questions and answers, I would like to emphasize that in Education USA, actually, we can advise on your documents. Andrew talked about essays, your CV, letters of recommendation. So Education USA Network, we have a lot of resources that we share with our advisees in order to know more about these documents, actually. And we can also review your documents, essays, and the CV, so to give you feedback, and with the goal to make your documents and your application more competitive one when you send your application to the institutions. Now we will move then to questions and answer section. Elvira.
Yes, thank you, Marta. Thank you, Andrew. I have a lot of questions here. So the first one is from someone interested in a PhD in education. And he's asking if teaching high school would be a extracurricular activity, it would be work experience, it will be enough as a teaching experience.
Sure. So we do have a PhD in an education, educational leadership PhD. I don't have the name exact on top of my head. Maybe my supervisor can help me with the name of that. That program likely you'll want to have a master's degree in education. Yvonne, do you happen to know if you need a master's to pursue that particular PhD? If not, we can research it.
For the PhD, for the PhD, we do not have a PhD at Binghamton University. We have an EDD. Program. For the EDD program, you don't necessarily need to have a master's degree. You just have to have the different prerequisites. There are other institutions in the United States that offer the PhD program, and it all depends on the institution. Some institutions will require students to have a master's degree, and some institutions will just require a bachelor's degree and completing their master requirements in course.
And what about the teaching experience? Is that enough?
And so teaching experience is going to be very, as Sandra mentioned, right? It is a very holistic review of applications. Some institutions will really take into account the experience that students have teaching prior to applying to a program. For instance, I had applied for a PhD in education actually at a private institution, and having taught English as a second language was very helpful when I interviewed for that application, and I was accepted. So yes, having some experience would be very important for a PhD.
Okay. I have another question here. What is the best way to show my extracurricular activities and achievements during an interview?
Oh, okay. So when you do an interview, it is a great idea to bring your resume, right? Or have your resume available. Even if it's a virtual interview, you can share your screen. That's very common because you can point to the experiences that you have on your resume during that interview. It'll organically be brought up. They will ask you in an interview, what sorts of experiences you have that might be relevant to that graduate program. But we definitely encourage you, if you are in an interview setting, to make sure that you always have your resume on file, because you want to not only present that resume to the interviewers, but you want to have it for your own reference as well.
Thank you. I have here two very similar questions. One says, is research experience absolutely necessary for a PhD? And I have another person who says, I want to apply to a PhD program, and I was told that I need to have research and teaching experience, and preferably publications. In your experience, is that accurate?
Those are definitely going to be strong credentials for you to have some form of research or teaching experience. But as Yvonne mentioned, it really depends on the program. You can definitely be accepted to PhD programs, some right out of your undergraduate career, and you don't necessarily need to have research experience. It really varies. I mean, there's thousands of different PhD programs across the 3,000 four-year colleges and universities in the United States. But while it's not going to be a requirement for every college and university, it's definitely a strong credential to have, because PhDs are very research intensive. That's one of the big pieces of your portfolio, is to do funded research on that campus.
Thank you. Another question here. I participated in a lot of conferences as attendee. Does that count, or only if I was a speaker in the conference?
I think that you would definitely want to put attending the conference on your resume. I think that being a guest speaker at a conference can really make that even stronger. But attending a conference is a privilege, and it's not something that every student is able to do or able to get the funding to do. And so I think it's definitely going to be a way to help you strengthen that application.
Thank you. Also, I have a question about languages. I speak French and German. Should I showcase that in my application?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a resume is another great opportunity to showcase the different languages that you speak, right, along with your right in that skills and credentials and licenses section, like that. One of those first portions of your resume, you can discuss the languages that you're proficient in or fluent in. That will be very important. You can also address your foreign language speaking capabilities in your personal statement. That's one of the credentials of your application where, again, you're trying to make your case for yourself. And having foreign language experiences is a very strong asset that graduate programs are going to look on that very fondly.
Thank you. I have another question here. If I didn't get involved in this kind of activities during my undergraduate degree, what would you recommend? Should I get work experience before applying to a program?
I would recommend that you speak directly with the program. I mean, there's a lot of programs out there. And so I think that what would be a great opportunity for you is to send all the credentials that you have directly to that graduate program. Like if you Google Binghamton University Psychology, PhD, you'll see contact information for the graduate director. And the graduate directors are happy to evaluate your credentials, even if they're unofficial, because you don't want to create more work for yourself, right? These credentials and opportunities definitely help you strengthen your application, but to communicate with those people ahead of, potentially spending a year or more pursuing these experiences, I think could be very helpful.
I have another question that is related to that. If I don't have this kind of experiences, would my grades and standardized scores will be sufficient to be accepted?
I think it's again, a similar scenario. There are graduate programs that potentially could accept you just based solely on your merit, right? Your grades and your test scores, but send an email to those people. The graduate programs are very happy to have those conversations, right? And what you see is that the acceptance rates for these programs are actually pretty high, and they're not high because they accept everybody, but they're generally high because a lot of the people are having those conversations with the committees ahead of time before even applying to see if they are in fact a good fit for the program.
Thank you. If I have research experience in a field different from the one I am applying to, would that still be relevant?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the skills that you're learning, the empirical skills, the research skills that you're learning as you conduct research are relevant, and they're going to love to see that, even if it's not exactly what the that graduate program of study is focusing on.
Okay, and I have another question, maybe because our poll at the beginning. Should we send certificates and diplomas as evidence of our activities?
I would make sure that you are paying attention to the application checklists that are offered when you submit your application. So in the case of Binghamton, we offer a very concise checklist of the credentials that you need. And if you don't need to send that license or that certificate, you can showcase on the resume, right? We don't ask you for every certificate and license, copies of all those things per se. It depends on the application, like for the nursing application, we'll need your nursing license. But generally speaking, you can just refer to those in your resume, and that should be sufficient.
Okay, thank you. I have more questions here that are not related to the topic today. So I will invite any student that didn't get their questions asked and answered about the scholarships and level of English and other topics. I will share in the chat the link to find your advising center. Your advisor in your country, in your city, will be very happy to answer all those questions that didn't get answered today. So please check that link and find your advising center and your advisor. And thank you, and Martha, you can continue.
Perfect, thank you, Elvira. I got some questions. If there is some time, we have some time to go through. Agricultural economics, it says, do you have master's programs for agricultural economics? Are there scholarships opportunities for scholars from low-income family like me? How much is the application fee?
It was agricultural economics. Is that the program?
Yes, agricultural economics, master programs for agricultural economics.
Sure. So Binghamton University does not have a named master's in agricultural economics, but we do have a master's in economics, which is going to be like a generalist master's degree. And certainly there are there's coursework and research opportunities that are related to agricultural that a student could pursue. And we have a master's and a PhD. The funding is more so going to be offered if you are a competitive applicant for the PhD program. That's when you will likely be offered a graduate assistant or research assistantship position. If you are accepted to a master's program, then you will likely be needing to find funding opportunities elsewhere, such as leveraging loans in your home country.
Perfect. Another one, there is this question about the non-academic or non-academic activities, extracurricular activities. If it is relevant to mention those that have a long time ago that they have been participating at, or if they should just mention the ones just from the previous years or the last years before the next program, the next study of program.
Sure. I would say that you want to showcase, if you can, the experiences that are most recent and most relevant. I remember as I progressed through my undergraduate career, there were experiences, maybe I did them in high school, right, that would just ultimately not fit in my resume anymore, right? So you definitely want to tailor your resume to be more recent and more relevant. It's okay to not put absolutely everything that you did ever on your resume. But that being said, you also want to try to fill it as well. So I would say somewhere in the middle of trying to showcase a majority of what you've done, but also it doesn't need to be everything, and you want to try to be relevant to the program and as recent as possible.
Perfect. And the super last. Are you asking for resume or CV or both?
Binghamton asks for a resume or a CV. A CV, a curriculum vitae, tends to be a little longer. I would err toward the side of a one-page resume. I think that is really what graduate programs are most interested in seeing. Similar to professional, job interviews, they want to see a resume, and ideally, if it can be on one page, that is the optimal length.
Thank you so much, Andrew and Yvonne, for sharing this information. Maybe our attendees saw some differences between the information from the presentation and the poll, like these options of extracurricular or non-academic activities that you can really see relevant to the application. And we want to also invite everyone, don't miss our next regional webinar. That will be next Wednesday, and we will be talking about international relations professional roundtable for graduate applicants. So that will be on May 26th. And we appreciate, again, Yvonne and Andrew, your collaboration today. So we're looking forward to further collaboration, and we appreciate the attendance of all the virtual attendees today. Thank you very much. And
thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for being here.
Have a nice evening. See you soon.
Thank you. Gracias.
Bye.